Hello everyone, I welcome you all to this class. In this class, we'll be considering more examples on this topic we introduced in our previous video. We looked at the inverse of a function, how to find the inverse of a function, and I told you I'll be showing you how to do that with the aid of some examples. As we'll be solving this example 3, and in this example 3, they said if f is a function defined by f of x is equals to 3 plus ln of x. This ln is the natural logarithm. So this is f of x equals 3 plus ln of x. We have to find the inverse of f and the inverse of f when x is what? 3. So starting the solving. So the first step is to write down the function you have. We have that f of x is equals to 3 plus the ln of x, right? So the second step is to call this function a particular variable. Don't call it x again, you call it another variable. So because we have used x is already used here, so you can say w, you can say v, you can say y. So I prefer I use y here. Let y, so in place of this I have y. Let y be equals to 3 plus what? Ln of x. So when you have done this, you make this variable x the subject of the formula. You make x the subject. So how do you make x the subject? You can move this positive 3 to the left, it will change to negative 3. So you have y minus 3. When this move here, you have y minus 3. And what you have at the right side is only ln of x. So the next task here is to make this x the subject. So, but we notice x is inside ln. So how do you get our x? We need to cancel this ln. How do you cancel ln? You need to introduce the inverse of ln, which is what? Exponential. So you take the exponential of both sides. So take the exponential take the exponential of both sides. So if you take the exponential of both sides, this implies coming to the left hand side, you take the exponential of it. So the quantity at the left hand side will be on the exponent. We have exponential y minus what? 3. So I've taken the exponent of this one. So equal to, then the right hand side, what I have is what? Ln of x. So I'll take the exponent of it. So I have exponent, then on the exponent I'll have, so I have exponential on the exponential I'll have ln of x, right? Ln of x. So clearly the exponential will cancel the ln because they are inverse function of each other. So you now have exponential y minus 3 is equals to what? You have x, your x left here, there. This simply implies that x is equals to exponential y minus what? 3. Because exponential y minus 3 is equal to x, which is the same thing as x being equal to exponential y minus 3. So when you have done this, so clearly you have made x the subject. So what you do next is to interchange. When you have done this, you interchange the rows of, that's the rows of x and y, interchange x and y. Interchange x and y. You only interchange x and y when you have made x the subject. So this implies, so instead of this x, I'll have x in place of what? Y. And instead of y, I'll have what? Y in place of x. That's what we mean by interchanging x and y. So instead of exponential y, I'll have exponential x minus what? 3. Remember, we called the original function what? Y. And we started from here and solved, and we reached again at the point we have y again. So y being our original function is this, and y being standing for our function is what this. So this means that this value of y here, which is exponential x minus 3, is the inverse of the original function, which is 3 plus ln of x. So we have gotten the inverse. So therefore f inverse, of course this function is a function of what? X. The variable x is here. So f inverse of x is equals to exponential x minus what? 3. So with this, we have gotten the inverse of the function. So we look at the second question. The second question, they ask us to get f inverse of 3. So f inverse of 3, that's putting putting x for 3 in the inverse function. So assuming that in your exam you are told to find f inverse of 3 given this function, and they did not ask you to find the inverse, f inverse. So you first of all get f inverse of x, as we have done here. When you get f inverse of x, you now replace x with what? The value they are asking us for. Asking us f inverse when x is 3. So because we have gotten f inverse of x, we can plug it in. We can plug 3 here. So instead of exponential x, we'll have exponential 3, then minus what? 3. So of course, clearly 3 minus 3 is 0. So we'll have exponential 0. If you raise exponential to the power of 0, you're going to get what? 1. Clearly you have 1. So the value of f inverse of 3 is what? 1. So thank you so much for being part of this class. I'll see you in our upcoming class. In our upcoming class, we're talking about domain and range of functions. So see you in our upcoming class. Bye.